I'm Rantasmo, and Chuck Tingle needs more gay. So it has been a while. How are you? How's things? I have been about as good as one can be these days. The last year or so has been interesting for me. During my hiatus, I've been trying to broaden my horizons a little bit. I've been trying new things, revisiting some of my old passions, and experimenting with some new business ventures. And one of those ventures has been, and I need you to just take a moment here and prepare to receive this information. One of those ventures has been writing heterosexual erotica. Not a joke. Basically, in my spare time, I've been doing a bit of freelance writing for one of those choose-your-own-adventure visual novel apps that are mostly romance-based and mostly aimed at straight women. And a lot of that work has involved writing sex scenes between heterosexual couples. And I think that's hilarious. Generally speaking, literary erotica is, I will admit, not my personal cup of tea. But there's one particular name that, at least in my circles, has dominated the erotica genre, and in particular the queer erotica genre, for several years now. And that name is Chuck Tingle. Chuck Tingle, or rather the person whose pseudonym is Chuck Tingle, specializes in surreal self-published queer erotica involving people having sex with anthropomorphized things that people are not normally known to have sex with. His body of work, which he refers to as tinglers, began with a focus on creatures such as dinosaurs, unicorns, and Bigfoot, eventually branching into sentient objects and even intangible concepts. Tingle quickly went viral for his off-the-wall titles and cover art. Even if you've never read a Chuck Tingle story, there's a decent chance you've seen a Chuck Tingle cover or heard a Chuck Tingle story title at some point. In fact, most of the third-party content out there that deals with Chuck Tingle is basically just people reacting to the names of his books.
And the title is Pounded in the Butt by My Own Butt.
What? What? A lot of tinglers also capitalize on current events from the latest news cycle. For instance, after the recent unpleasantness surrounding J.K. Rowling's feelings towards trans people made headlines, Tingle came out with a full novel entitled Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and the Bad Boy Parasaurolophus. A big part of the Chuck Tingle brand is also the unique persona that he embodies on Twitter and on the podcasts that have spun off from his work.
Greetings, buckaroos. It's Dr. Chuck Tingle, world's greatest author, and your new radio bud, with an exciting message about love on this timeline and the next.
Outside of his stories, Chuck speaks with a distinctive vernacular that's uniquely his own. Men are buckaroos or bucks, women are ladybucks, sexual orientation is preferred pound, knowledge of human mortality is the lonesome train, and pretty much the worst thing that anyone can be is a devil man. It's unclear exactly how much of the Chuck Tingle character is based in fiction, but considering that he presents himself as a taekwondo master who exists in multiple timelines and is haunted by the ghost of his dead wife, I think it's fair to say probably some of it. But I feel like the premises and branding of Chuck Tingle's books, as well as his online persona, often greatly overshadow the content of his work itself. And even more so, a lot of people don't seem to be aware of the larger context in which Chuck Tingle exists. If you're new to the world of online erotica, you might be surprised to learn that Chuck Tingle's work is not as entirely singular as you might expect. As bizarre as the idea of erotica featuring dinosaurs, unicorns, and Bigfoot might seem to someone of a more vanilla persuasion, those are all genres of erotica that actually predate Chuck Tingle's literary debut. A Billionaire Dinosaur Forced Me Gay, for instance, seems like it could quite easily fit into Chuck Tingle's oeuvre. Yet, it was actually authored by Hunter Fox, several months before Tingle's earliest published story, My Billionaire Triceratops Craves Gay Ass. While I suppose it's possible that Chuck Tingle and Hunter Fox are both pseudonyms of the same person, there are simply too many dinosaur erotica books out there under too many different names for all of this to be the work of just one mastermind. This is to say nothing of the multitude of stories in which characters have sex with centaurs, tentacles, leprechauns, gothic mansions, and living Tetris blocks. I hope y'all like this video because my Amazon search history is ruined now. So like, this is all a joke, right? Surely this is just one of those newfangled memes the kids are always talking about. It's not really meant to be taken seriously, is it? Well, as far as I can tell, it's sort of not, but it also sort of is. Stories about people having sex with really weird stuff have been around for a really long time. Greek mythology alone is full of people being ravished by gods in the form of a swan, a bull, an ant, an eagle, a cloud, a bunch of gold coins. Most of those were Zeus, by the way. He was into some weird shit. Clearly, this is something people have been fascinated with for a while. And even in the realm of what some might consider relatively more mainstream erotica, things can still get kinda weird. Much has been made over the trend of vampire romance novels over the past couple decades, but the paranormal romance genre often dips into more inhuman territory. Erotica featuring shifters, which is basically a catch-all term for werewolves, other types of lycanthropes, and various breeds of animorph, is incredibly popular. If you're perhaps familiar with the Omegaverse genre of erotic fiction, it's more or less a variation on werewolf erotica that focuses on the themes of domination and submission. What I'm getting at here is a lot of people kind of want to f monsters. Their reasons for wanting to do so might vary greatly from person to person, but a lot of it seems to come down to power dynamics. For the same reason that a person might get turned on by BDSM, some people get turned on by the idea of being ravished by something scary and powerful. Something that is on some level alien to themselves. Whether that's a billionaire, a vampire, a werewolf, a velociraptor, or even something intangible like the crushing existential weight of sentient self-awareness. Chuck Tingle's work and other stories like his are just a very extreme satirical extension of a fairly prevalent human desire. What does set Tingle's body of work apart from that of his peers is the ethos of inclusivity and acceptance that it's developed over the years. Where the early Tinglers pretty consistently featured jacked cis white gay guys in the lead role, at least according to the covers, Chuck has since made a conscious effort to diversify his work, including more racial minorities, lesbians, bisexual and transgender representation, and occasionally more varied body types. Some of his stories are even specifically non-erotica in an effort to appeal to asexual readers. The one constant element is that all of his stories are unabashedly queer. Insofar as in the Tingleverse, a jet plane can also be a gay male billionaire. Chuck's overarching philosophy is all about proving love is real. And as silly as it might sound, there's something kind of beautiful about imagining a world in which everyone, everything, every concept is intrinsically capable of love. And I think that's exactly what we need to help us get through a year that has truly pounded us in the butt.